Right.
Bro,
Ryan.
Pablo, how you doing, bro?
You right, mate? How you doing? I'm all good. What are your thoughts?
On the Lampard.
Tell me everything. Lampard, Tuchel, the last days, everything you've heard. What are you thinking?
Sorry for that echo. Can you just wait. My
Yeah,
my
right,
laptop.
right. No
Just
rush.
give me 1 minute. I'll be back with you.
Right. Get Ryan back in a minute.
Yeah, I'm back.
Go on. What are you thinking about the whole situation, mate? What are your thoughts?
Wow, man. This situation, man. It's like in an English chess, man. You know them 40-mark answers, man. It's not a 1-mark one, man. It's a very long. But nah, first of all, I thought it was the right decision. I think he lost the players, and I just felt like he lost the dressing room. And apart from really Mason Mount, nobody was really fighting for him and fighting for his job. That's where I think he went. That's when I think he went over the line from pressure to no, you have to get sacked now. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when you lose the players, it's hard to get them back, and that's why I felt like because there was quality players in there, and if you got them to gel and to want to play for him, he could have done something, but it kind of backfired on him. He kept on throwing the players under the bus as well, which didn't give them confidence. And Lampard has that sort of arrogance and ego about him. Not a big arrogance, but he has that arrogance about him because he was a former player. So he's not like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who what's it called? He doesn't have an arrogance about him. He's like a player. He's friends to the players. But with Lampard, there's a bit of an arrogance and an ego. So that will backfire on him as well. It backfired on him because he was throwing players under the bus, a bit like what Mourinho used to do. But Mourinho when Mourinho threw players under the bus, it was calculated. It didn't always go right, but more time when he did it, it was calculated to get a reaction out of the players. But with Lampard, he threw them under the bus, and you know what I mean. It just hasn't helped, and like the performances, I don't think they were gonna get better as well. Like it's been. I think this really started from when we lost to Everton 1-0. Like the performances started to get very, very poor, and nothing changed. You know what I mean? It was still very one-dimensional. We were playing so slow as well. Like
we were.
Don't keep playing playmaker. People are saying we need Declan Rice. We need someone to split the lines. When in truth, you don't always have to have that person who breaks the line. If you just play quicker, because when you play quicker, that opens up more spaces, more gaps, more spaces to exploit, more options. You know what I mean? But with us, it was just so static. So players, the teams we were playing against just set up on a low block and we couldn't do anything about it. They were just splitting in a low block, and then our transition's so bad as well. So that's a recipe for disaster. If you move the ball so slowly, you can't break a low block, and you're terrible in the transition as well. That has a counter attack written all over it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was the right decision. I don't think it happened overnight. Apparently, there was tensions from like the summer in it, but because
I know.
From when was it our honeymoon period from the end of September towards like I don't know the end of November, start of December, that was really our honeymoon period. So we were never gonna dwell on it because we thought everything was nice. But when in reality in the summer, there was tensions between Lampard and the board. First of all, he wanted reinforcements in January. He wanted who was it? He wanted Hakim Ziyech in January so he can finish him at the season. He got him, but he only got him for July. And when the next season started, he wanted Aubameyang as well, apparently, for the next season from Arsenal because he wanted a bagsman. He didn't get him. And I don't think every signing was his signing. I think Ben Chilwell was his, but I still don't know about Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Thiago Silva. I think Kai Havertz, they just had to get him. That definitely wasn't Lampard because in a freak season like this, especially when Real Madrid would have got him, Bayern would have got him, Barcelona would have got him, some team would have got him. So this was the perfect time. I only think Chilwell was his. Mendy was probably Czech's signing, and really the boards. Thiago Silva, I think, was just a general signing because for the experience. Hakim Ziyech, I think that might have been Lampard signing as well.
I think I think he agreed more with the Ziyech one.
Yeah, but and then he wanted Declan Rice as well. He kept asking for Declan Rice. He was persistent for Declan Rice. He was like, I want Declan Rice. And because of how because of how bait and how like public he made the Declan Rice thing. West Ham obviously saw that and they inflated his price. Which Declan Rice, I like him, he's a decent player, but for me, I think he's nothing above 50, 60 million at most. I think they were demanding 80 million, which is not his price. He's a decent player, but I don't think he's that price. So that obviously infuriated Marina on the board because Lampard was going so publicly with this Declan Rice thing. It kind of backfired for the board, you know what I mean? And then really he didn't speak to some players for months. He didn't speak to who was it? Rudiger or Kepa or something.
That group of players,
Yeah, he didn't speak to players for weeks and months. Like some players might not be the best on the pitch, but in the dressing room it's a different story. Big up Ross Guthrie, by the way. But like Rudiger, how many times has he been a liability for us? But I can tell you for a fact that I can tell you for a fact that in the dressing room he's really, really good. Yeah, I mean, because he's got a connection with the German players. He's a personality. So when Lampard hasn't spoken to a player like Rudiger for how many months, Rudiger has now went to the board. He's probably got conflict with Lampard. You saw the whole thing that happened with Azpilicueta where he tried to start up a fight and all that mess.
That's not good news.
Players in the dressing room you have to stay in touch with and you have to really take advantage with, because if you lose key players in that dressing room, it can really affect everyone else. And players speak as well. It's not like they do their training sessions, they go home, do their things, come back and play. And midway through, they're like, bro, is this what you done in Leipzig? Is this what you done in Leverkusen? Is this what you did in PSG? You know what I mean? So yeah, performances didn't get better as well. I felt like we were so slow. We were really, really reliant on crossing. No one was really penetrating through the middle. And I don't think it's a case of we haven't got the players. I think our squad is really good and I think it's capable of challenging for the league. I think it's one of the best squad depths there. So I think our midfield is really good as well. I think Mason Mount has the capability to break lines. His main attribute is passing. It's not dribbling. It's not shooting. It's passing. He likes to pass and move the ball on. We were so sideways, too predictable on the counter, on the transition. We get lucky at times, but we get caught out. Like that Fulham game, for instance, if they didn't get that red card and Cavallero puts that chance away, and it was unlucky for him because it happens to everyone when you miskick the ball and it kind of hits onto your other feet. But 9 times out of 10, that's going in. To a bagsman like a Jamie Vardy, to an Aubameyang, to an Aguero, that's going in. You know what I mean? Crossing, inshallah, man. You're right, bro. So
that's our tactic.
It really is. So we got lucky against Fulham, and I think for me, Leicester was the last nail in the coffin. I don't know about you, but Leicester for me was like, you know what? I've tried to back this guy. I needed a big performance from him today, and the players weren't even running for him. The players weren't even running for him. You know what I mean? That tells a lot. That's when I was like, you know what? Lampard, respectfully, part ways. Thank you for everything you've done, but bro, it's time to go, because I think the Fulham game was almost the last nail in the coffin if it wasn't for that goal.
Mason Mount saved him.
Yeah, he did save him. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it's nice that he got the Luton game though, because at least he left on a 3-1 win. I think the board didn't plan like, 3-1 Luton, that's not good enough. We wanted 5, we wanted 6, let's sack him now. I think it was a case of they sacked him, I think, against Leicester. When they fully made their decision, even Lampard knew, shook all the players' hands, thanked them for their efforts. And then I think the thing was, I don't know if it was paperwork and Tuchel as well, because of the whole COVID thing and the self-isolating. It was gonna take time. They wanted Ralph Ragnick, Julian Nagelsmann. Ralph Ragnick didn't want to come in as an interim, and Julian Nagelsmann only wanted to come in at the end of the season. So they came to Tuchel, and yeah, it would have been nice to have Tuchel having that Luton game for an easy first game to implement his tactics. But we're gonna have to do. He's gonna have to do. Wolves are gonna be his first big test. But I'm not gonna judge him on Wolves because I don't even know if he's gonna play there.
No, yeah, I hope people don't, because we don't even know, 1, if he's going to be on the sideline, or 2, if he's even going to have a training session. But in general here, what are your thoughts on Tuchel? Like, do you like him? Do you think he can bring success to Chelsea this season and next season? What do you think?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I think he's gonna be a short-term fix for us. In terms of, I think he'll have the end of this season and after that season, and then I don't know if he's gonna be a project manager, but I think he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna get fired straight away. I don't think he's gonna be something like an Andre Villas-Boas or something. I think he's gonna be a good manager. He's got good tactics. He demands a lot from his players, and he shouts on the touchline as well. Like, how many times does Lampard things are going wrong and he's not getting into the players? You know what I mean? Like, how do you think the players feel? Like, they are lost on the pitch and they're looking to Lampard, and Lampard sitting there with his arms folded, almost about to cry. And Tuchel, you know what I mean? He shouts at the players. He gets into the players. A bit like Conte. Did you see Conte?
Yeah, he's a passionate guy, Tuchel. Yeah.
Yeah, and he demands a lot from his players.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they did. By the way, aren't you?
Did they delay the sacking to guarantee the Tuchel employment? Yeah, probably. I don't think Roman's smart. He's a football man. He didn't want to sack, because certain teams sack managers and just like, where do we go from here? Getting this random interim, getting this random player. I think from maybe Man City, they were looking at sacking Lampard and probably 85% there. I think the Fulham and the Leicester game was really the last nail in the coffin for the board, for the fans, even for the players. You know what I mean? And yeah, what was I even saying?
Is Tuchel the right man?
Tuchel, yeah, I think he's the right man. I would have preferred some other other persons, but that would be at the end of the season. Like, I at first I thought, let's get an interim and get someone like a Julian Nagelsmann or pay out.
That was what I was thinking.
And then I realized, like, these players need to kick up the. I don't want to say like too many bad words in it.
I'll say it, mate. So I don't think
these players needed to kick up the ass. Like, they really needed that. And I'm thinking, if an interim comes in, if it's a pushover interim, the players aren't going to react as much. They're going to be like a couple months out and this guy's gone. But we needed to get top 4, and I think Tuchel is going to be here for at least this season and next season.
Yeah.
So he's going to get into the players like, I'm here to stay for this season. We need to get top 4. You need to work. You need to earn your place in the squad. And the players need to think, this guy's going to scream at us. We need to work now. We need to get top 4. We need to listen to this guy's instructions. So I think Tuchel is the best person to get. Ralph Rangnick as an interim would have been nice, but I think Tuchel's the best non-interim option. Because Allegri as well. Some people push for Allegri, but I just don't want to go back to that football. I don't want to go back to counter-attacking. Like, sure, it will get us, I don't know, maybe a Premier League or something, or a couple of cups, but in 1 or 2 years' time, we're going to be in the same situation that we were in Conte, Mourinho. So I think Tuchel plays nice football as well. He relies on possession. He also likes a lot of options as well. So when one player has the ball, he likes players to move. He doesn't like players being static, like standing there. Whenever a player gets the ball, he likes there to be options, multiple options. You know what I mean? Intense as well. So when you think about it, that's what Lampard kind of tried to do. Like, you saw it last season a little bit. Like, the start of the season, we were playing really well. Like, we were very intense. Like, you see that Leicester game where we drew 1-1. The start of that match was fantastic. Everyone
it was mental, wasn't it?
But the problem was, like, we were just burning out. So second half we would just burn out, and our players just forgot how to play football. First half we would look like prime Barcelona. The second half we would look like Rotherham. You know what I mean? That's how kind of it went. So I think that's good as well, because when we sacked Conte, we went from Conte to Sarri, from a defensive manager to an attacking manager, where now Lampard kind of tried to do something attacking and intense, but it just what's it called? It just didn't work. And Tuchel's gonna carry on from that, try to do the same. And yeah, I'm confident in Tuchel, man. I think he's gonna do better than Lampard. He's got better tactics than Lampard for me. He's got legacy.
It's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a good status, so the players, I don't think, will turn on him straight away. Because with Lampard, like, the players will obviously respect Lampard for what he's done in the game for the man he is. One of the best centre mid. Some of these players, like maybe even Kai Havertz, looked up to him. But after a couple of games, after a couple of months, they question him managerially. Like, for the first couple of games, it'll be like, oh, fun and games. Frank Lampard, one of the best midfielders I've ever seen. I grew up watching this guy. But and then after, they're questioning, is this guy really? Yeah. And with Tuchel, obviously, he took PSG to a Champions League final. People will say, they're expected to win the league. Of course they're expected to win the league, but he had the highest win rate of all.
Yeah, I want to say this on Tuchel. I do think he's so underrated. Some of the stuff I've heard about him getting PSG to a Champions League final How many years in a row have we watched PSG bottle it on TV? They didn't do that with Tuchel. They were so much stronger. I was impressed with their setup. They looked like a good, strong team, way
They should have
harder
won
to
that
beat.
final as well.
Yeah,
That's
and
the worst thing about it.
Bayern Munich
what's
did
his
not
name?
run over them.
Neymar, I think it was the attack that let them down. Defensively, they were solid. Mbappe got one or two great chances.
Yeah,
Neymar
he
got
did.
one or two great chances. Di Maria got one or two great chances. They had chances, and it's not up to Tuchel to put them away because the talent in their squad. Tuchel should teach the system, the tactics, when to press. But simple things like scoring into a net, that should be ingrained in them, especially with the quality. They should have won that. And people judging him like they didn't win. He didn't win the Champions League. Well, what PSG manager did win the Champions League? You know what I mean? Like under Emery, they lost 6-1.
That's vintage PSG. That's what they always did, 6-1. I thought they looked so much more solid under Tuchel. By the way, I think Tuchel, to be fair, was there for the unless I'm being an idiot.
3-1.
Was he there for the Man U? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was
poor. That was poor, to be fair. But
that was supposed to be honest. They didn't have Neymar, but I think they still had the capabilities of winning. I'll give that to him, but he's strong to come back from that and make it to a Champions League final. And also that Champions League final, it's not like he played some pushovers. It's not like he played, I don't know, a weak Spurs team or a weak random team from the French league no one's heard about or from the German league. This was the best team in the world at the moment, and it's still the best team. Some of the best players. They got the best striker. Some of the best defenders. Some of the best midfielders.
They completely nullified Bayern Munich.
Yeah, we would know. We got slapped by them 7-1. You know what I mean? We got embarrassed 3-0 at home in that second half. They
put 8 past Barcelona 10 days before the final.
Exactly. I mean, they are no pushovers. Lewandowski.
They were ruthless as well.
Yeah, they're ruthless, man. Bayern is one of the best sides I've ever seen. Because obviously I'm a lot younger than you, but for me, that's one of the best. Yeah. It's one of the best sides I've ever seen. They were the best team in Europe, and but yeah, Tuchel I don't think should be disrespected, man. Give him a chance as well. Like people writing him off, like it's mainly coming from the people who wanted Lampard to stay. Like I get it. You wanted Lampard to stay. Some of us didn't. Some of us do. But the main thing for us now as a fan base is to get behind Tuchel, whether you like him or not. Get behind him for this season. Don't write him off. He hasn't even stepped in on the what's it called on the training ground, let alone being on sidelines. You know what I mean? And people are already writing him off like, oh, this guy can't do anything. Like, give him a chance. What's important for us is we rescue our season and we get top 4.
I want to say on the top 4 thing, people have got to be careful there because if he gets top 4 now, that it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to get.
I'm not saying he has to. I'm saying to get top 4, that's our aim. Like we would. That's what we want to do. I'm not saying if Tuchel doesn't get top 4, sack him. But I'm just saying. Like,
I just worry. I worry people are going to be really harsh on him.
Yeah. People shouldn't, man. They should give him time. And he's coming into halfway through the season as well. Like if he didn't even have a preseason, he's not gonna. And now the games are so compact that it's like you finish your game, you analyze that game, and then next thing you know, you can't train because you're already working out tactics for the next game. And it's kind of like you can't really have a few training days. You know what I mean? So yeah, we have to get behind Tuchel, whether you like him or not, whether you are Lampard out or not. Don't write Tuchel off. You know what I mean? Respect Tuchel, try to get behind him, give him all the support you need, give the players all the support they need, and just reunite, man, because there's been so much toxicity in our fan base. When Sarri was there was so much toxicity. Now Lampard left. I think Lampard left before it got ugly, because if Lampard stayed there, I think it would have got really toxic, even more toxic than the Sarri and Sarri out. I think it would have got really, really toxic. You know what I mean? Really toxic. Yeah, it's going to be really hard, but that's why we're going to need to back Tuchel and not write him off, because to get the best chance, we're going to have to back our manager to do what he does best with his tactics. So get behind Tuchel, man. Show him your support. Show him that you're willing to give him time, because Tuchel's a good manager, man. And yeah, just give Tuchel time, man. We have to get behind our team to try to get top 4, try to rescue this season that Lampard has kind of not put us in a bad place, but you know what I mean? I don't want to spell the words out, but it's kind of ruined it a little bit. And we're going to have to try to salvage the season, try to get top 4. And then next season, maybe you can go for a title challenge. Maybe we can try to get another trophy, progressing
next season, I want to see us up there. I really do. With this squad.
I think this season was meant to be the thing. Like last season, we got top 4. This season was meant to be like challenge. No one's asking you to win it. That would be nice as well. That would be a cherry on the top. But for this season, just challenge. Yeah. I think it was like 30 points.
Yeah, become a relentless winning side, which we just haven't done.
Yeah, and it's kind of went the other way. So now we had to like really lower our expectations. So top 4, you know what I mean? So it's kind of went down.
Now it's annoying, isn't it? Because now it's almost like we'd be content with Europa League.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
I think the people who say they wanted Lampard in, like Lampard shouldn't have got sacked. I think it would have got ugly. It would have got ugly, and it would have, and for Frank Lampard as well. I think that was good for him as well, because it's good for everyone. Because if Frank Lampard stayed even longer and he hadn't turned it around, which I don't think he would have. Yeah. Say for example, he took us, I don't know, maybe 10th or 11th, which could have happened with the way we were playing. We didn't even get into Europe. Some players were told that against him for his playing career, which no one should do, but it would have done eventually because of what he done managerially. But whereas if he left now, on his CV as well, like he did leave mid-season, but he got top 4 for that first season, so it's good as well. Where it's like they look at his CV and be like, okay, so you got Chelsea top 4 in the second season, you got 11th or 12th in the next season. Like, bro, what's going on? 200 million as well. You know what I mean? So I think it was the right decision for all parties. It would have got even more toxic in the fan base as well. Like, it was already toxic now. If he stayed even longer and we were at about 11th, 12th, Lampard in versus Lampard out, would have been so toxic. But bring on another guest, man, because I've just been waffling for the last 20 minutes.
No, sure. It's been great. It's been great to talk. There were a few good comments here, actually, and this was maybe the one we'll get Tyrese on in a minute, but this was I think he's just eating something. This was the one I was interested about from a while ago. This was why I was annoyed with sacking Lampard, because I think the whole point of getting Lampard in was, look, we're going to build a new project. It's going to be more. It's going to be a more long-term thing at Chelsea. Now, what's happened is the minute that started to go south, he's been sacked. That's not a project. Now, I agree with them sacking him if they believe, look, this isn't going to be a project though, because Lampard's going to keep taking us backwards, which is what you were saying there. But
I think that's also why I wanted an interim, because I feel like with Tuchel, he's going to be a good short-term fix, but he's not a project manager. I can see him getting sacked in his next season or the season after that. Whereas if we got an interim, maybe say someone like Gus Hidden or who else, Rafa Benitez, someone just to steady the ship. Say we got top 4, even if we didn't get top 4, we just, you know what I mean, and then we could really assess our options. We could have went with Julian Nagelsmann, a Hassan Hutel. We could have even paid Carlo Ancelotti out. There was a lot of managers, because in the summer you can pay managers out. Like, it's all about the money. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's why I wanted an interim, because it was only Tuchel or Allegri who are not long-term fixes. Both good managers, probably would bring success to our club, but not long-term fixes. And then like next season or the season after that, we're stuck here in the same position, assessing managers. But yeah, man, big up my guy Tyrese, bro. What are you telling me, man?
Yeah. Go on, give us your thoughts on everything.
You guys knew that I was Lampard out, but it still hurt me a bit though, because I didn't want it to go down like this, because like he got the job. I was so happy, and the football that he had us playing last season, I was really impressed with, and everything. And it looked like we were actually going on to be into a project that we Chelsea fans has been craving for so many years. And we managed to make the top 4 last season with a fairly mediocre squad, if we're being honest, on paper. And he got us to a cup final as well. So he actually overachieved, like massively overachieved last season. He got us in the top 4, level on points with United that had a much better squad. And we had injuries as well. So, and some Man United fans would say, "Oh, we were level on points with them because they had a lot of injuries, like with Pogba and stuff." But we had injuries as well. James was injured.
Yeah, we did.
Rudiger. We had Kante. A lot of our players were injured. Pulisic. And I think it's just sad to see him go. But I'm really excited for Tuchel, because I think he could I think he's an experienced manager, and I'm a big admirer of him. When he was at PSG, I think people need to be a bit. Need got to stop being so harsh, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not easy managing the likes of Neymar, and it's not easy managing the likes of Mbappe. Those guys are some of the best players in the world. At Chelsea,
Yeah.
no. I think the Tuchel. I think the thing is, yeah, the PSG job to me wasn't the right job for Tuchel at that time. He should have taken the Chelsea job in 2018. But who's going to turn down the opportunity to manage a generational talent in Mbappe and Neymar? I think it was a wrong job for him because of this reason. Because Tuchel is always a project manager. Like PSG, that isn't really necessarily really a. I guess their project was probably at the end of it was to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And he got to the final and he lost, so that kind of frustrated the board as well. But they didn't really give him good signings, you know. They didn't give him good signings.
No.
They didn't give him
Yeah.
good signings.
Like people will say because of Neymar and Mbappe, but other than that, like you can't really think of marquee signings. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like the ego thing as well. Neymar and Mbappe have big egos. You know what I mean? It's hard to handle it. Whereas when it comes to Chelsea, you got good players, but our best players. Let's look at our best players. Thiago Silva, I'd say he's one of our best players. He hasn't really got an ego. He's one of the most professional players in our squad. He hasn't got an ego. N'Golo Kante, who I think is arguably our best player and has been for the past couple of years. After Eden Hazard, maybe he's probably the nicest guy you'll ever see. The nicest guy you'll ever see in football. He hasn't got an ego. Hasn't got one little bit of it. Hakim Ziyech, another very good player. I think he has a little bit of confidence about him, not arrogance, but a bit of confidence. But I don't think it's an ego. Like he'll still listen to the thing and stuff, so he won't cause any problems for Tuchel. And then Pulisic as well, I think is one of our other best players when he can stay fit. He hasn't really got an ego as well. You don't hear anything about him falling out with any other players or him, I don't know, not listening to the players' instructions. You know what I mean? So I can go through a lot more, but I can't really see any players with really big egos or superstars who are going to start him week in, week out. You know what I mean?
He should have never. I don't think he should have taken the PSG job. And I understand the project would be to win the UCL, which he got to the final. But that guy got to Champions League final with a dead midfield with Ander Herrera in it. Paredes, like who's these guys? The only good midfielder in my level at Paris Saint-Germain is Verratti.
Yeah. And he was injured, wasn't he?
And he was injured, and I'm telling you, if Verratti would have played in that film, that could have been a different game. Because because like no one is going to be. Everyone overshadows this, but Bayern didn't play that well in the final.
They didn't. They were a great side, but they didn't play well in that final.
They didn't, but also give Tuchel and PSG credit for that.
Exactly. He nullified Bayern.
PSG should have won. It's Mbappe. Mbappe and Neymar let them down. Mbappe should have scored. He had a couple of sitters. Neymar had a couple of sitters.
Neymar was poor.
Di Maria had a couple of sitters as well.
Was good though. He was better than Mbappe and Neymar for sure.
Yeah, because they weren't clinical enough. None of their forwards were clinical enough. They should have won.
His fault. That is not his fault. He opened Bayern Munich, and the thing is, right, the goal they conceded as well came from a individual or a very poor by Carroll, very poor by Carroll. He should have been taken up there on Kingsley Coman with that header, and that's not his fault. A manager, you could say that's how he likes his stuff remarked, but that's not how it is in football.
That's just a player switching off. Like if it constantly happens, like week after week, you'll be like, okay, it happened multiple times in the match. The thing is, they were really hard to break down. They were playing as a unit, and it was really just that moment where he just fell asleep. And Bayern can punish you. Like as much as we can say they didn't play well in that final, when they do get that one chance, they're clinical. Big teams like Bayern punish you, and you know what I mean. And Bayern had one of the best midfields as well. What's his name? Thiago was playing man of the match in the final, I think. Kimmich was playing. Muller as well. They had a good midfield against a weak PSG midfield.
Yeah, I think the thing is with PSG, I think if they had a much better midfield, they could have caused some harm to Bayern Munich because they had so much opportunities. Like, can't remember much opportunities from Bayern besides when Lewandowski hit the post.
Yeah.
And there's a thing that usually goes around every year that Lewandowski goes missing in certain big games. That was clear in the final. Like, he didn't really do that much in the final to me. And we could have been better. Not we. PSG would have been better if Verratti would have started in that midfield 110%, bro. And Tuchel got to get the credit that he deserves. I think he's a really good manager. And based on the squad that we have now, he has a perfect project because if you're being completely honest, yeah, I'm going to be honest with this. We have a better team than Paris Saint-Germain. They have a better attack than us, 100%. We have a better midfield, and our defense is better. So they may have the better goalkeeper and probably one or two players, but we have a better team than Paris Saint-Germain, midfield-wise, defense-wise. They have a much better front three than us.
Their best defender, Thiago Silva.
Yeah, exactly.
And people I don't get people blaming Tuchel. Like, what could he really have done more? He won the league. He has the highest win percentage, win rate percentage, whatever you want to call it, for a PSG manager. He won the cup for them. He got to the Champions League final of when what's his name? Was it the left back or the right back? I think it was the right back. I think who fell asleep and their forwards just not putting chances away. Like, they should have won that. People, if Mbappe and Neymar put their chances away, and Kelleher Kara didn't fall asleep, people would be raving about Tuchel. You know what I mean? Like, what could Tuchel have done more? Got onto the pitch and scored for them. Come on now, man. People need to. Nah, I mean, some people are lazy, man. Like, they look at him. Didn't win the Champions League. What's it called? Fell out with the board. He's not going to be good enough. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't going to take the time to really look into that final. What happened? Nah, I mean, that's the problem, man.
The thing is, about Klopp had problems with Dortmund as well. So it's not Tuchel's fault.
Of course they would. Like, imagine developing the best youth players, and they just get sold every year. Of course, you're gonna have problems with the board. Like, and also, I think I'm happy for Tuchel as well because Tuchel worked with Aubameyang and Pulisic. And Aubameyang is similar to Timo Werner in that, like, he loves to make runs in behind, and he's a bagsman. And even Aubameyang, when he came into Arsenal, he came mid-season in January. He was missing a lot of chances. Arsenal fans were getting onto him, like, he was missing sitters. Come next season, he was the top scorer, top scorer, and then the season after that, he was the second in that list, only behind Jamie Vardy. So I think Tuchel can get good out of Werner 100%. As well, Pulisic as well. I think he developed Pulisic. He developed Pulisic as well a lot.
He did develop Pulisic.
Yeah, it's just Pulisic had a lot of injuries. Like, he's very, very injury prone. But I think if Pulisic stays fit, and Tuchel's going to work with him as well, because, yeah, that's going to be good as well. Tuchel's also worked with Thiago Silva as well at PSG. Like, they did have a little bit of a fallout towards the end, but Thiago Silva's professional. You can put that behind him. Like, he's for Chelsea now. What happened then happened then. It's not like one of the unprofessional players. Thiago Silva's professional. So, like, he's worked with Thiago Silva as well. So that's 3 key players in our squad, who, if they all play very well, will determine our results, our performances. You know what I mean? One of our best players last season, a lethal striker who if you utilize, can be one of the best strikers in the world. And Thiago Silva, who if you play to his strengths as well, can be one of the best defenders in the world as well, even at his age. Zuma at CDM, nah, that ain't happening. I can see Christensen at CDM, or even a Thiago Silva. Even maybe a Rudiger, but Zuma's not good enough on the board to play CDM.
Yeah, I don't think that's probably.
Tyrese, can I ask you something? Because you were always going on like about Lampard not being good tactically. Now that we've got someone in, like, are you really looking forward to seeing? Like, do you think Chelsea can be like top again, basically good tactically, a top team? Because that's what you were saying. You're saying we've got the players, but Lampard's not doing well enough with this team. So, like, you must be happy now. I'm excited to see what Tuchel can do. Honestly, like, I back Lampard, but I also back the board because they gave us so many trophies, so much success. So, like, you excited for Tuchel?
Yeah, I'm excited, but you still have to take into consideration that we're still it's back to square one again with the transitional thing. But these are good players, so I think that his message should be loud and clear on the style of play he wants to play, the sort of football he wants to play. It will take time. He will get results, pick up some results. So I'm not really expecting when we play Wolves, it's going to be like a complete walkover. So we're probably like a 1-0 or 2-1 or something. And yeah, and I don't know if Ryan was saying that he played Marquinhos at CDM.
Yeah.
He was playing a centre half at CDM because he offered them more defensive stability. I don't think that's going to be the case at Chelsea. I think he's probably going to play. I think he's going to play Kante there.
And Jorginho maybe.
And probably Jorginho, because Jorginho is similar to Marco Verratti. Just that Verratti's much more mobile, and Verratti's even that mobile that side. He's even that quick either. So I think that's probably going to be it. And the thing is, yeah, I think I'm excited, but time is also a factor, and we got to take that into consideration. So I'm not expecting us to challenge for the league, obviously, until next season. I mean, it's still possible this season. Like if this was the case last season, the hell no.
Yeah.
But now it's completely open. So now we could focus on probably trying to get back in the top four. I'm not too really interested in league right now because at this point we're midway season, we're not doing well enough to really be considered and say, yeah, we're going to go in the league. But I do think now that we have a chance against Atletico Madrid because we have a better manager.
I agree with that.
I personally believe that we could win the Champions League. I personally believe so because I'm not being too deluded here because obviously there are much better teams in the Champions League than us, but the top teams in the Champions League, not much of them are performing. Real Madrid, yeah, they won their group, but I watch Real Madrid a lot because I tend to watch a lot of Eden Hazard. They were poor in that.
They are. They're looking poor again this season, mate. Honestly.
Yeah.
And I still think that the overall morale at Real Madrid right now is a bit low because they're so used to seeing new faces every summer, and this new summer now they don't have new people to be working with and stuff. So this season, I don't see Real Madrid. I actually had them before the summer that I think I was saying, probably Real Madrid is going to win the Champions League again next season. But no, when they get Mbappe, I think they'll win it again. Liverpool, they can't win a Champions League without a centre half. And
I think Van Dijk's out for the season as well. So
there's no chance. Then there's Bayern. Yeah, Bayern is the only threat to me. Then there's also
Man City, but they rarely get past the quarterfinals. But if they do, you have to still look out for Man City. But
watch out for Man City this season. They look way better.
Kevin De Bruyne is out though. Kevin De Bruyne is out, so that's big.
He should be back soon. They don't have a striker either. They don't even
be back. It's not long term, right?
He'll be back.
They'll probably.
Yeah, Atleti for me are one of the toughest draws we could have got. Maybe the most informed team in Europe right now, to be honest. They just don't concede goals.
The only tougher team we could have got was Bayern. Like we always get these tough teams. Like we got PSG. We got PSG twice in a row when they were like in their prime with Ibrahimovic and
we
Cavani.
Got PSG every year.
And then Barcelona, and then we left it for like 1 year, and we're back. Can we get an easy draw? And they're like, no, we can get Barcelona. We can get Barcelona, and then what's his name when Courtois just kept opening his legs, man. It was annoying. And then they had Messi and Suarez as well, who were on form, man. And then we left it again, I think, for one season.
Yeah, Europa League.
Did we? Yeah. We did leave it one season. We came back and we were like, can we get an easy draw, UEFA, man? Can we get past the round of 16 this time? And they were like, no, we can give you the best team in the world. Bayern. Oh man, UEFA, man, I swear down. Like next year, if they don't give us somewhat easy draw, we came first as well. It's not even like we came second.
I know, yeah. We put 4 past to Sevilla to then get drawn against Atletico.
Yeah. The thing is, I think we could beat Atletico if we approach it correctly.
Yeah. It's a big.
We have to be clinical. We have to play dirty. Like you see how we played against West Ham 3-0. We didn't play that well, but we got the result. Again today, we got to play like that against Atletico Madrid.
You know what I think we should do? I think what we should do is this will sound crazy, innit? But I think we need to stick an extra defensive player somewhere in the midfield and the CDM. I think that's what we're gonna do because with Atletico's like attack, they got Luis Suarez, João Felix. And yeah, they got like great players in attack. So when we're attacking, we can get caught off guard. And the problem with us is our DMs are not sitting DMs. Like first of all, we got Jorginho, he can sit, but he's like very, very bad defensively and attacking.
He stays in the position, but he just doesn't really do much to stop them.
Yeah, he's not athletic as well. He's slower than the referee, man. Like, what's going on? And then you got who is it? Kante. He's good, but he doesn't have the passing ability to play that lone CDM. And then he gets forward a little bit as well.
Yeah, he likes to go forward.
He can, yeah, but like he likes to go forward and free roam, so he can just get the ball from anywhere and quickly move it on. Kovacic, he's decent at CDM, but like he's a ball progressor. So when he gets the ball, he's just gonna dribble out of what he can do, but so he's not that person to sit. And then Billy Gilmore, who I think can do it, but like it's just a bit too inexperienced. You don't want to throw him in against Atletico.
Not yet.
I think I would throw a centre back in because Atletico, they are clinical.
Oh, yeah.
Like it doesn't. Missing chances in Atletico is just not a thing. That shouldn't be in the same sentence. Like when they get the chances, they will take them, especially with Luis Suarez as well. So yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we should stick an extra centre back there and just tell him sit, doing a normal passing, but don't get forward. So and then we'd have 3 natural centre backs who are fairly experienced as well. Like Thiago Silva is one of the most experienced players in the world. Zuma, who's been in the Premier League for quite some time now, so he's not new to Chelsea. And Christensen, who's went on loan and has been there for a couple of seasons now. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I think that's the right way to approach Atletico. You have to go attacking, but you have to be defensive as well. So set up some defensive players.
You know, Ryan. The things that you just suggested there, those things can actually become possible because we have a better manager that's done a lot.
Developed Marquinhos into a CDM as well. Yeah, like Marquinhos was a centre back. He developed him to a CDM. But carry on, bro. I keep buffing him, man.
Yeah, it's fine, bro. But I think our ideal replacement. I said it before. If we need a centre half this summer, Marquinhos would be perfect. I think we have to come out to probably attract him to the club. I don't know if he'll leave PSG. Since he was just appointed club captain, it's probably highly unlikely now. But I really love Marquinhos, so we're gonna have to say about that one. But yeah, what I was about to say.
Like you think we'll be better tactically now against Atletico?
Yeah, 100%. I think we would be better tactically because we won our group. We went unbeaten, and the last time we went unbeaten in the European competition, we went on to win it. So I honestly believe that we could challenge the Champions League this year, but Atletico is going to be really difficult. You have to be clinical, and if we could get Werner in some goal sprint form, probably like 3 weeks or 4 weeks prior to that, and he could turn it on one day. I would love that because the good thing is that we're going to Wanda Metropolitano in the first game. I know it doesn't matter now, but I think
away goals wise though.
Yeah, and I think we gotta go to Wanda Metropolitano and probably go there with the mindset of winning the game, obviously. But I personally go in there a bit more defensive and like just see them out and see what sort of team they are, so that we can just dispatch them.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I think what we'll do.
If we play into Atletico's hands. Oh, if we play into Atletico's hands and we just go fully out attacking and don't even play with a proper CDM, they're gonna exploit us and they're gonna get the ball one time. But I feel like if we kind of set up a little bit more defensively, set up in more of a low block, not in a low block but lower, so we kind of invite pressure into ourselves. So Atletico have to do the work on the ball. And they're midfielders and they're like wingers and they're wing backs. They're not there to play with the ball. They're there to defend and quickly beat it up to Suarez or something and get a goal that way. Yeah. So we will frustrate them. And then when we hit them on a counter as well, Timo Werner, who's rapid, his movement's excellent. He just needs to finish 1 or 2 chances. Pulisic as well, who's rapid. Ziyech, who if he gets the ball and he sees a pass, he will find it. And even if you don't, Hudson-Odoi is really good on the counter as well. He's rapid as well. And then you got Kai Havertz as well, who played a little bit on the counter with Leverkusen as well, because they play such a high line every German team. So he will used to like counter attacking as well. And then it'll be good, man. We'll see, man. I'm just excited. I'll be honest. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see Tuchel.
Actually, Tuchel, I think Tuchel's managing the game tomorrow, because I read an article that he's managing the game tomorrow.
I think he might even be training. I think he's got a training session with the team in about 40 minutes. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
When he's gonna? Do you know the time she should be revealed though?
Yeah, literally. I don't know. He's meant to be training with them.
It's going to be revealed later today. I think he's definitely confirmed. I think it's like, I don't know, paperwork and stuff.
Now you're already saying, but I just think it's probably just to get the training out the way. Then he probably have to do some COVID protocols and stuff. Probably probably get some stuff, and probably with starting out stuff with his visa and stuff. Probably that.
I'd expect the latest to be tomorrow morning, like around 9 or 8. But I think that's the latest he's gonna get announced. I think he'll probably get announced around. What's the time now? I think we'll probably get announced around 7 or 8, like a couple, maybe about 1 or 2 hours after they train. So and then they can fully do it. But man, I'm excited for Tuchel, because I don't think they want Anthony Barry and Joe Edson to coach as well, because they still got the Lampard genes in them.
Yeah, they do.
We don't want any more Lampard. But I'm excited to see Tuchel, man. Even if we draw or we lose, like I still want to see how he plays.
I
don't know about tomorrow's result. We might lose or something tomorrow, but just in general,
I just want to see how he plays, his tactics and stuff.
I need everyone to know this here. I think the appointment of Tuchel, the board. Because we know Chelsea. Lampard loses against Leicester on Monday. He will get the sack the Tuesday. They give him an extra week because they spent that week in details looking for the right manager for us. And I don't think, have we ever done that before though? We always sat and then we just heard the best available option the next day instead of deeply looking through it. And I think they've done that this time. Marina was actually against sacking Lampard, but apparently Abramovich told her that if she doesn't want to sack him, she could go too. So he's
really. Where did you see that one?
I think I heard it on someone's channel, because they have a friend that's that has a good insight with the Chelsea. Knows a lot of Chelsea board members, but Abramovich, he spent a week. He sent out a statement that showing that he's changed over the years. And bro, like we have to make sure Tuchel's the right man. I just want the board to just completely satisfy him, give him everything he needs. If he wants a center back, give him a center back. If he wants a striker, give him a striker. But the one thing is, I think Conte is the only manager we've had that was difficult to back because of his he was very outspoken as a person, and he was also a very difficult man to work with. But with Tuchel, he gets frustrated when things aren't going his way. But I don't really see a way where things have been going his way. If you have everything there, only thing we could probably get interference is if we have to replace Thiago Silva, and he probably gets a centre half he doesn't want. But we know at Chelsea, the board and the manager works like this, and we have Petr Cech there now, so that he could go to Czech, and he could speak the German language as well. He could go to Czech and like, yo, Czech.
I can speak like 8 languages. I think he can speak my language, fam. It's mad. I think wait, I only speak English and some other languages. But fam, Petr Cech speaks so many languages, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. That was crucial in negotiations as well, I heard.
Yeah. But Tuchel, like with the board, I don't know. I don't think he'll fall out with them. I think the board are probably gonna try to get onto good terms with Tuchel and be like, listen, we don't want any fallouts with you. And Tuchel will think likewise as well. So it must be frustrating with him having, first of all, at Dortmund, where your best players get sold. You develop them for so long. You see them, they're this close turning into superstars, and then a Real Madrid or an English team snaps them. So you can get why he's angry. And PSG, his board is hard to work with. Like all the people complain and deal with PSG's board, man. That's a nightmare in itself. And I think the board as well, they don't want to get rid of Tuchel like next season. They want him to be a little bit long term as well and stay for at least the season after the next season. So they're probably gonna try to get onto good terms with him, try to get him the players he wants if it's reasonable. And 'cause I think both parties, like the board and the manager, don't want to fall out with each other.
The thing is, within this fan base, it just confuses me because there's so much. Because this entire week I spent looking into the right manager for this club, and I spent a lot of time looking at some tactical analysis. I watched over some of the Champions League games. I analyzed Ragnick, Nagelsmann, and Tuchel, of course. I looked through Tuchel. There was a video on the football terrace. I watched that one. I watched some other videos. That I just seen, he's a tactical genius. Nagelsmann, same thing. A bit similar. But the thing is, there are Chelsea fans that would say that would prefer Nagelsmann over Tuchel. When Tuchel is more experienced, when Tuchel has actually won stuff, when Tuchel has got to Champions League final, and the same Nagelsmann he played in the semi-final, he beat him 3-0. And the problem that came within that game was that high line that he didn't think. And that's the problem with Nagelsmann. There are some good coaches that when you approach certain teams, you have to adjust the line a little. Like Liverpool does it sometimes. I saw PSG did it in the Champions League final because they were a bit deep because they had a 95 by a minute as much as possible. So at least we could see that he's versatile and he could be defensive and he could go all out attack as well. So that's good to show that he's a good tactician to have as a manager. Nagelsmann is always all out attack, and that's why Leipzig tends to struggle to keep a lot of clean sheets. So that would have been a problem with us. And he actually, the thing is, Leipzig concedes a fair amount of goals, and they have good center halves. We have good center halves too. So, but I don't want that. I didn't want Nagelsmann as yet. I still think if he goes on and wins the Bayern, he goes on to win the Bundesliga and or some sort of trophy, I would have taken him. But for right now, I don't think Nagelsmann is ready to manage a massive club like Chelsea so early on in his managerial career. I mean, he's been managing for a lot of years, but in terms of his age, like he's too young to be managing a top club at Chelsea. Maybe in about 5 years, I'll probably say, give him another chance.
I think he will be a good replacement for if Tuchel leaves. I think he'll be good because Leipzig have only really became into a team that goes into the Champions League regularly. So I think Leipzig are looking like a good team now. So I think they're going to be in the Champions League for the next couple of years. So Nagelsmann will learn as well, man. He's a good manager, but he's still got a lot of stuff to learn. So he'll get experiences from when to play a high line, when not to play a high line, when to set up defensive. You know what I mean? And one thing quickly, someone put out this tweet, Eunice HH. Tuchel has literally just arrived at Cobham for the first time, and he immediately needs to get ready to take a training session. Imagine getting to your new job, not being shown around, thrown into chaos. Good luck, Thomas Tuchel, man. So Tuchel,
I think he's gonna be great for us. The thing is, before he came to the Premier League, if you look at Jurgen Klopp, like a lot of people say, he failed at Bayern, he failed at PSG because he had the likes of Mbappe and Neymar. He went to Champions League final and did jack squat. Why wasn't anyone saying that about Jurgen Klopp 5-6 years ago when he came to Bayern? I mean, he came to Liverpool. Sorry, that guy had and the thing is, it was Dortmund didn't have such good players. That's not so. You had a very good Marco Reus. Very good Marco Reus.
Lewandowski as well.
Very good Lewandowski. You had a very good.
Gundogan.
That played for Man United. He had Gundogan, and then he had Kagawa. He had Kagawa. He had Max Hummels. He had Matthias Ginter. And then I can't remember who was in goal for the time at that time.
Berkey.
Not Berkey. He's a more of a recent person that came to who?
Roman Weidenfeller.
What's his name?
Weidenfeller. He was their keeper for ages before Berkey.
And he had a good team, man. And Klopp made it to Champions League final with that team. That to me, and PSG was basically in the same stage at that time because Klopp was trying to win the Bundesliga, and then he ended up in Champions League final because he did so well that year. And he bottled the final 1-0 as well, similar to Tuchel. I personally
did he lose 2-1?
No, wasn't it 1-0 when Aaron Robbins scored one goal?
2-1.
It was 2-1.
I think it was 2-1. 2-1
It was some tight game. I thought it was some tight game. Yeah, it was 2-1. But I knew Robbins scored. Yeah, I knew Robbins scored. I can remember that. Yeah, and that's the thing. These German managers recently tend to come to the Premier and do well, and they usually do have the basic style of play. I do think that if we got Ralph Ragnick, we would have been so dangerous. Because that guy he is one of the most underrated managers in the world. I'm not talking about underrated when we said Sarri's underrated. I'm talking about a guy that influenced so much German managers like Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel, Nagelsmann. All three of those guys came off of his style of play that he was playing from the 1980s in Germany. And Ralph Ragnick would have been a good interim and then probably go for Nagelsmann in the summer if the board wanted to do that. But I never personally really wanted Nagelsmann yet. But I still do think he's a top manager. And if he would have got Ralph Ragnick, bro, I know for sure he would have got something immediately out of this team. With Tuchel, not so, because he probably has to implement more stuff because he's that sort of manager. But I do think that Tuchel is going to come good, and I just want Chelsea to back him. And this time, just make sure that he doesn't get too complacent and then goes loses his fans like what it does on Lampard. Because I'm sick of the sacking and hiring, bro. We need to be more loyal to our managers and stick on with them. But this is modern day football. You're not going to see that at United. Sir Alex Ferguson, when he was there, he was doing really poor with United at first, and then eventually he got really good over the years.
They stuck with him.
But now, and they stuck with him. But now that I think people need to realize that this philosophy thing is not necessarily the modern day answer anymore, because only long term managers that I can think about in Europe that were at club for a long time were Sean Dyche and Diego Simeone. And those guys were there for a long time. I can't think of any manager that's been there for a significant long time. Klopp could probably be in that bracket now because he's been there for 5-6 years now, half a decade. And I do think that he's going to be that long-term manager Liverpool always wanted. I don't know about Tuchel. I personally don't. I do think in 5 years he'll either resign and leave us and go and do something else. But I do think we have a good manager on our hands here, and we have to back it. We have to make sure the players understand his philosophy. I have to do some more research on how he approaches his players. But the thing is, I used a point about Kylian Mbappe, and I said that guy worked with Kylian Mbappe. He got the best out of Kylian Mbappe and said, oh, Kylian Mbappe is a generational talent. He doesn't need any training. That is not so. I hate to hear that excuse. Like, when Cristiano Ronaldo came to England, Rio Ferdinand said it. He had a strong shot, but it was never on target. It was just a very powerful shot. And at that time, Cristiano Ronaldo was basically deemed as a generational talent, and he turned out to be one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest. And I'm not saying that the same for Mbappe, because I do think Mbappe could become one of the greatest players of all time. And he had to work on Mbappe. Mbappe, when he first came to PSG, when he was at Monaco, his finishing was good, but it wasn't world class. His dribbling was always good. His skill moves was always good. He was always a quick player, but his decision making and finishing wasn't the best. That's improved now, thanks to Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. He's good with working with young players because I think the main thing is, I don't even think Tuchel is the mindset when he came to PSG, I'm going to go in here and win the Champions League like that. I think his main thing, he loves to develop young players. And it was an interview with him when he was at PSG, and he said it's very important for young players. And I do think with the rich academy that we have, the rich academy of players we have, and with the young players we have, Thomas Tuchel is going to do immense stuff with this squad. And I do think, if I'm being honest, we can get past Atletico and challenge for the Champions League this season. The Premier League, no, not so. I basically wrote that off. But we can make top 4 for sure and still probably finish top 2, top 3. You never know. It's a very poor season. But for right now, for me, Champions League isn't a requirement. But I'll let the Sis challenge for it this time. But the requirement for me right now is to get an FA Cup in the bag and then just start there and then go on next season.
Yeah. Also, I want to see like the style of play, improved tactics, a clear like brand. I'll move on to you, Ant, because you've been sitting here for a while. Just overall thoughts. Lampard, was it too premature? Was it the right decision? Was he out of his depth? And also on Thomas Tuchel, like just general thoughts. Because from a United fan, who you guys stuck with Solskjaer, and now it's looking like it's coming good. Just what are you thinking in general?
I was gonna say Solskjaer, he's in the job now, and look where United are. They're top of the league.
Yeah.
Whether you think they're going to stay there or not, it proves that standing with your man can really work.
Yeah.
And I know all of you love Frank Lampard. You're all Chelsea fans. He's a legend. He's the best player in your club's history. And I just think I would have stood with him. There are issues, but nothing that can't be resolved. That's my overriding thoughts.
Yeah,
The thing is that I don't think you, as outside fans, understand the pain that we were going through. I'm gonna explain to you why. Like, it's not that it's like a Solskjaer thing that he had to tweak certain stuff, play a better 11, play. If that's fair to say, you can't see us winning the Champions League. It's not a requirement for me right now. That is something that we can win in the future with this squad. But what I'm saying, the differences between Solskjaer and Lampard, like when Solskjaer realizes something isn't working, he changes it up. Lampard was tending to do that a lot last season, but I don't know what happened this season. He was a bit more, I don't know. But the tactics were not working. He was not changing it up. He was not playing. He was playing square pegs and round holes. And also at the back of it, we spent 130 mil on 2 players, which was Havertz and Werner. No, 140 mil, sorry, on 2 players, and he didn't get much out of them. He hasn't got much out of them as yet. So to me, I agree with the board's with the sacking. But one thing I don't agree with was the audacity of Rudiger, and he has completely lost all of my respect. I do wish the Chelsea board moves him on, because he has no right talking about you want to be in altercations with the club's captain that's been here for 8 years and won many trophies. So you haven't done jack for this football club, Antonio Rudiger. You could go. I would love
that kind of brings me on to this, because now with Tuchel coming in, are we going to see people like Zuma, Reece James, Mason Mount, these sorts of players that Lampard trusted? Are we going to see them? Do you think we're going to see? Do you think he's going to play Rudiger?
I think he would.
I think he's going to play Rudiger. I think he's going
to start off playing him, but I think because he's open-minded as well, so he's not that stubborn. He likes to change tactics, change formation, and I just hope Rudiger does his usual Rudiger stuff, so Zuma can come back. And Rudiger, man, what a bro! Yeah, I'm trying to keep him monitored. I don't want to say
what happened with Rudiger, because I'm sure you guys will know more than me. What's his situation?
He went to confronted the board. He went and confronted the board and complained about Lampard and stuff, and the board just said that.
Who did that? Because I saw that on Sky.
There's all sorts going around, isn't there?
It was really poor, and to me, you got to know your place. I know that the results were not good, but what gives you the right to go and speak to the? Listen, Aspilicueta has been here for 8 years. He's our club captain, and and he didn't even do that. Because he knows there's a different. He knows his place at Chelsea. He knows he's a player, and the board is the hierarchy. Like, what does Antonio Rudiger do? What does he do for this football club that can merit him to go and speak to the board and to just say, Lampard is not doing this and that, get him out. That's not right. And I do think he has to come out and publicly apologize for what he did. I wanted Lampard gone, and I don't really think that that it was only Rudiger came to speak to the board that got the decision much quicker. It was because of the results. This is a results game, 100%. And we still don't know all the details about that yet. It could be a case that the club asked Rudiger to come and speak to them. The board asked Rudiger to come and speak with them. Because, sometimes journalists get the gist of the story right, but they don't get the exact detail. It could be a case like that. If it's a case like that, fine. But if you just went up and about all the very way just to go and do that, I don't respect that, because you don't do nothing for this football club for me to merit that. If it was Aspilicueta, I can understand, because he's borderlining and becoming a Chelsea legend.
Yeah.
If he's already one already. And I don't respect that approach from Rudiger. So back to Ant, the way how United was situated with Ole, I always said that y'all have a good squad, and I do think that y'all would have challenged and do well this season. I still don't know if you're going to win it yet, because I think there's still teams around there like City And I'm going to be honest, I don't see Liverpool in that clear risk, but they will meet up for 100%. Yeah. And the thing is, with United, they had a much different approach because they're boarding it as ruthless as us in the first place.
Yeah.
And Lampard could have changed it around and probably tweaked the tactics a little. The thing is, if Lampard would have played the football that we were seeing last season, as opposed to the one he was playing this season, I would have completely backed him. And if we were getting bad results, playing well, like how we were doing last season with a less dense squad, I will back him up. So, you know what? I'll give him more time. It's just probably a gelling problem. He has a lot of big players to work with. But his tactics were poor. They weren't working. And we were not playing well. So I do 100% agree with the board's decision. But I have to find out more about that Rudiger thing. I think we're going to find out more information about that.
Yeah, it was an odd one, wasn't it?
I think it got to be that doesn't sound Chelsea to me. It got to be a case that he was brought into the office by the board to speak about the squad's morale, because Rudiger is one of the biggest influences in the dressing room. Everyone should know that, because based on his IG stuff and in that Europa League final, we could clearly see that he's a joker in the squad and stuff.
That's kind of what I found quite odd, because he's meant to be a leader. So you look at the last games when Lampard's job was on the line, he actually brought Rudiger into the starting 11 because he wanted a leader back there. That kind of contradicts the reports that are coming out that Rudiger was like bullying the academy players, that he was going to the board, that he was speaking to managers behind, to like people like Tuchel behind.
That doesn't sound like Rudiger to me. But
apparently it's true though.
Surely
also like
he's not going to be at the club for much longer.
Yeah, you'd imagine. But now that Tuchel's here, I think Tuchel might play him. So.
But the thing
but like he left Lampard in an ugly state, man. Like, he knows Chelsea, man. You see managers get sacked. Like, you saw Conte get sacked after the FA Cup where he got that man of the match. Like, there was no need to like go to the board about Lampard. Like everyone was being respectful in the team, apart from maybe Kepa and Alonso along with Rudiger. Like, he said he's a good buy. Like, you're not happy with the manager, but there's no need to cause chaos on his last final days of him being here. Like, as much as Frank Lampard needed to be sacked, you have to do it respectfully, man. You still have to respect him for his legacy and just for what he's done for the club, managerially and a player. So if that's true, man, I lost a bit of respect for Rudiger after what he done.
Yeah, I kind of agree with this. I was actually speaking about this yesterday in a little video thing. Lampard worked quite well last season when he had like the young players. He overachieved with that group. It worked well when he had the Mason Mounts and Tomoris and Abrahams, and he had to scrap out with like a younger English group. Now that he's got Havertz and Werner and this outstanding squad, he does look a little bit lost tactically. He doesn't really seem to be able to be getting the best out of it. And ultimately, maybe Abramovich just felt like, mate, you can't lead this team to go to the very top.
Yeah, so. I feel like last season it was kind of like he had a lot of young players. He promoted his players. And the only really two players who came in, only player who really came in was Christian Pulisic, because Kovacic was already there. But he was kind of like, he wanted his tactics, his thing. And because he basically got a free season, because it didn't really matter it mattered where he finished, but no one's really expecting him to get top four. No. He done things his way, and people weren't really questioning it. Obviously, he was playing Tomori a lot before he dropped him. Reece James a lot, Mount a lot, Abraham a lot. Hudson-Odoi a lot, Willian a lot, who was on his last season, so of course he was going to play well. Pulisic as well a lot, so he had his own tactics, his own thing. He was brave with it, and nobody really questioned it, because they were like, you got your young players, you can do what you want with them. But now there's kind of an expectation, because he's bringing Havertz and Werner. Havertz is deemed to be a generational talent, and Werner's meant to be one of the best strikers in the world. Ziyech as well, he's very, very good with crossing as well. So now everyone's expecting him to do stuff with this team and only get better. And now he can't really manage them because he can't really just manage all the players and gel them together into one system. Whereas last season he could really just do what he wants, because nobody would question it and he had no expectation. So he can kind of promote the youth players that he wanted, just subs that he wanted, and people would question it. I questioned it sometimes, but it never got to a point like, we really need to question Lampard as a manager and if he's good and then if he needs to go. Where now, like we saw it at the start of the season, people were already asking after like draws to Southampton and West Brom and stuff, is this guy really the right man? A minority that didn't say it last season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I want to ask your thoughts on Tuchel. Like, what do you think? Because it does seem again like a bit of a short-term fix, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, is he? To me, he's a pretty top coach. But how's he going to do at Chelsea? Basically,
I've said to you before, if I was Roman Abramovich and the checkbook was in my hand, all my money is going on Ralf Rangnick. That would have been the man for me. But then I think Tuchel as the next man is a pretty darn good appointment. He walks in as one of the best coaches in the league. He's a fantastic manager. PSG, we all know how awful they are in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Bottlers of the highest order. Champions League final and a darn good performance against Bayern. And I think the way he's got, he's made Ander Herrera look a really good footballer, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. And I think he's going to come in, do a job, and who knows what's going to happen in 12 months. I can't call it. No one can call it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all
given the opportunity to spend some money in the summer. If he
he'll get the summer. I think it's just how much longer will he get after that? I suppose is the question. We don't really know, do we? I'm hoping that he at least gets until the end of next season, and then who knows? Maybe we'll actually go in with a manager for like 2 seasons running. That'll be strange, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, I quite like the appointment of it, the idea of it. I'm kind of just hoping that it all works together. I'm looking for our players and our squad, and that's what makes me hopeful. I think, Tyrese, you would agree with that. With the players we've got, like Havertz, Werner, and all these top players, I'm excited to see what Tuchel can do with all these guys.
Pardon?
I'm just saying I'm excited to see what Tuchel can do with all these players, because like it does almost feel like a new lease of life. Like you were saying, we've been playing so flat this season, and it's almost felt like we're not that good anymore. When in fact we've got such a great squad of players. And whether the Tuchel impact will be instant or not, I'm not sure. Look at our first 3 games of Wolves, which isn't really going to be Tuchel's game, is it? Then you got Burnley on the weekend, which of course is must win, no matter which manager is in charge, really. And then he's got Spurs away, so he could be in for quite like a damaging defeat very early on to his career. So short term, I'm not putting too much on it at all, but just in general, long term, by April, by May, even March, that Atletico game as well. I want to see like a proper competitive Chelsea side. We've got such good players, and I want to see tactics as well.
Yeah, I want to see that as well. By the way, I just read the article. He's not going to be unveiled later this week, and he's not going to be unveiled until later this week, because they're still trying to sort out some stuff. But he's training this tonight for sure, and he'll be on the bench against Wolves. But as I was saying, yeah, I am excited. I am 100% excited because I've seen the football he's played with PSG and with Dortmund. I think he's a good manager. I think that he'll definitely get the best out of some of these players we have. We shouldn't have any toxic energy in the dressing room. If it's Rudiger and it's Aspilicueta, my best bet is to sell Rudiger. I personally don't see what he does for this football club to merit him being here. I think he's good on the ball, and I do think that he could have a decent game in him every time. But if Tuchel could get something out of him, and he manages to become this really great player, why sell Tony Rudiger? But I don't see that happening. He's 28 now. This is the perfect time to cash in on him. He's not good enough for Chelsea Football Club. Thanks for the 4 years. You've been good for 2 seasons, and then the other 2 haven't been that great, so you can go ahead. I really don't care what you're going to do. But for right now, if Tuchel decides to play him just because he's a German international, and Tuchel probably seen him play a bit more in the Bundesliga with Stuttgart and stuff, maybe, probably he's probably going to run him wrong and play him for Chelsea in a little bit. But I don't want any toxic energy on my club. Yeah,
I do worry about the whole Rudiger situation, because right now we're seeing like an exodus towards him on Twitter. Like the fans are ripping Rudiger to shreds right now, and Tuchel, I'm worried, is going to walk in and play Rudiger against Wolves, against Burnley, and against Tottenham in a big game. And I don't know how that's going to be taken by some of the Chelsea fans.
The thing is, it just didn't sound like Rudiger to me, because it was always, to me, Rudiger always seemed like a cool guy in the dressing room that keeps everyone together and sane. But I do think that that does not sound like a Chelsea player, because we tend to be a bit disciplined club with our players over the years, because we don't really see our players in any much altercations like the Man United players, like the Greenwoods or the Pogbas or any of these guys that gets themselves in not even Pogba, like the Greenwoods or the Ravel Morrisons that would tend to get themselves in a bit of trouble. We usually are much better with our players, player management. And I think it's a case that the journalists kind of misinterpreted it. I do think in more information, since the fans are blasting Rudiger right now.
Yeah.
And usually the way how these things goes is if it gets seriously and someone starts racially abusing him, they'll probably the media will probably come out with a response and say the true pick of the story, or it could be completely true and the fans deserve to be angry but not to abuse no one of no sort.
Yeah.
And with Rudiger, I don't think that sounds like him. I think it's a case that the board brought him in and spoke with him just to know what's the vibe in the dressing room, what's the atmosphere. I think it's got to be that, or it could just be that the journalist got it spot on, because Matla is hardly ever wrong.
I was going to say reliable people saying quite clearly what Rudiger's done.
So if that's the case, and it's 100%, and he's bullying the academy players and and he's being disrespectful to Aspilicueta, he's got to go. He's got to go, and I think the board would probably have to go and say, "Hey, Tuchel, the dressing room right now is not the best place of mind right now, and if you think Rudiger should be still a player in your plans, because we could give you another better center half, and you can let this one go for some amount of fee." And if that's the case, and 99% of the time, if you're a fresh manager coming to the club, you don't want to be dealing with nothing like that. So you say, yeah, goodbye, Rudiger, let him go.
That's also a reason I think he should play Thiago Silva and Zuma, because for his first game, I hope he plays Thiago Silva and Zuma. I just pray he doesn't play Rudiger, because if he plays Thiago Silva and Zuma, that's been like our most consistent centre-back partnership for like this season, innit? They played like over, I think, 14, 15 games together, so they know each other, they complemented each other. There's been a couple shaky games, but most of the games have been solid, so them two know each other, whereas Thiago Silva and Rudiger, especially with the reports about Rudiger playing with Thiago Silva as well, Rudiger playing with the team after what's going on, like Aspilicueta has to play as well, you know what I mean? Because what's his name? Reece James can't play because he played the Leicester game and the Luton game, so I presume it's going to be Aspilicueta playing. How is Rudiger and Aspilicueta going to play on the same pitch if what happened was allegedly true and these men were fighting like 2 days ago? You know what I mean? That's why if Zuma, I just pray Tuchel does the right thing and he plays Zuma and Thiago Silva, and I don't even want Rudiger to be on the bench, man. I don't. If it's true, I want Christensen on the bench instead of him. If what's true, shouldn't even be in the matchday squad.
Let me just ask this question first, and then I'm going to go on and say what I was about to say. Havertz, 100%, just because he's German biased. It's probably going to be the same thing like with Lampard and Mount, but Havertz offers much more because he's a better player. It's just that he's going through a difficult patch right now. But I do think Mount is still going to be in his plans. I do think that he loves working with young players. Like, it doesn't matter what nationality you are. Like, look at Pulisic at Dortmund. Like, it had German players like that had been in that Dortmund academy, but or European players like Jacob Lars. That's his name. That guy that is Larson that played for Dortmund. The Danish guy. I think he's Danish. Yeah. And he could have played it more than Pulisic. He didn't. He played Pulisic more, and he was an American player. I don't think even with Dembele. I know Dembele didn't come through the academy, but still, he still played these young players, regardless of what nationality you are. So I think Havertz is going to play. But what I was about to say is, didn't PSG want Zuma for 50 mil at one point in time? Like, wasn't it this summer or last January or something like that? That PSG wanted Zuma like for 50 mil? Because if that's the case,
I think probably see soon. I mean, you'd imagine they would have been linked to them at some point. I do just worry. Of course, Thiago Silva's going to play, and it's going to be interesting to see who Tuchel goes for, Rudiger or Zuma. That's going to be massive in the news, honestly.
Like, I think he'd personally go for Zuma because it just depends what the board said to him. Because if the board are like, Rudiger is currently a little bit of a bad smell in the club. Tuchel's experienced enough to know that when things like that are happening, it's just be safe in it. And it's not like Zuma's a liability. He's been one of our best players this season. He's been a little bit shaky in his past couple of games when he's played, but he's been really really good this season, and he's been 10 times better than Rudiger this season because he just played more, and when he's played better. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just hope he plays with him.
Another thing that Lampard, I knew the thing is, like the thing that hurt me was like I put so much trust in Lampard, and I don't like him as a manager, but as a person, I would never lose respect for him. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I do see him as one of the best midfielders we've ever seen, and I don't have any harsh feelings against Lampard. He could come back any day in the next 5 years. He could come back once he's ready. But what I have to say, you see that Arsenal game when we lost 3-1. It was so blatantly obvious that there was a problem going on with the squad and with the manager, because every single problem that you could expect from an inexperienced manager occurred in that one game. The first problem the first mistake he made was playing 2 half-fit fullbacks. An experienced manager would be like, Rich James, he's not fit. He was supposed to get surgery. Ben Chilwell, he got a knock against Everton or Wolves, can't remember. And he said an experienced manager would be like, these guys are not fit, so let's play the backups. He didn't do that. That was the first error he made. And then the in-game management was poor because the substitutions weren't good enough. Only one substitution that worked was Hudson-Odoi. But he should have brought on Giroud. Havertz didn't make any sense whatsoever. Jorginho, I guess, he came on to steady the ship a bit, but it wasn't called for because I don't think that he did anything that much with the game. I just think it just helped. He just helped us got more control of the game. Those are good players. Any of those players can control the game, help control the game. So all the problems are showcased in that one Arsenal game. And one thing I just want Tuchel to be like, I know he's going to get his management right, because even dealing with injured players and injury-prone players in the past, like Pulisic and Neymar, he should know that you don't rush them back in. And he did that with Neymar a fair bit. But he was forced to do that with Neymar because Neymar is one of the best players in the world, the third best player in the world, easily on this planet. And with Pulisic, I can't remember how he managed them back at Dortmund, but I'm going to have to go do more research on that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Tuchel, man. He's going to get something out of this squad. I do think it's going to take time for him to implement it. I think if Chelsea wanted immediate results, they should have sacked Lampard last Monday so that he could have a week to prepare and get himself in order. And then and then for this Wolves game now, he could have come in and get a result. So a result isn't guaranteed against Wolves because I'm going there with the mindset that our team is going to go there and play for a draw, just get a point, and then
I just don't know if I can see us beating Wolves with all this stuff, with all the chaos going on. Honestly, I imagine a Wolves win, really, if anything. But
I don't think they're going to beat us.
I'm not going to worry too much about the performance because it's only his first game and he's only had one.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So I'm gonna just see more in the Burnley game. But for this game, I think it's more about performance, seeing what he's trying to do. Even if it doesn't work for the first game, I get that because he hasn't really had the chance to properly tell the players his tactics and tell them what to do. So I think it's just more about the indications of how Tuchel wants to play, how he's gonna play, what he does in game, the formation he likes to play. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what he does, and the result will be a plus as well. If we win, it's going to be fantastic. If we draw, that will probably be a good result as well. And if we lose, I think it's more about the performance. To be fair.
Yeah,
I think that's going to have to be the case because, I think that has to be the case because you can't just expect us to be going into this first game for Tuchel, expecting us to be getting some massive result in first to go and win.
That's what I mean. It almost doesn't even count as Tuchel's first game because what's he going to say? Have a chat with the players before on WhatsApp and then just play the game? It's not gonna be his tactics.
I think I think Tuchel is a good enough manager to be managing because I think he had COVID, I think, actually. And I think he was at PSG. I think he contracted COVID, I think. And I think that he had his assistant manager managing the game for him and he was giving him instructions. I could be wrong, but if that's the case on Wednesday, I just hope that whoever he has as his assistant managers is going to work. But I do need to know: is he bringing his own backroom staff, or
I think so. I think he's bringing a few. Yeah.
Because at PSG he didn't have a man he was necessarily working with that he from Dortmund days. He was that guy was given to him, and at PSG that guy was given to him, and to come now I don't know if he's going to bring his own people or if the assistant manager is going to be Barry on one of those guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to see, man. This is a very important, very very important stage of the season right now. So Tuchel is gonna have to see what he could do within this week. Because when do we have Burnley at the weekend?
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. Okay, so he has basically Thursday, Friday. Okay, he has 4 days to implement something in there. 4 days is enough time. Should be enough time. Because Thursday is going to be rest day, Friday is training, Saturday is probably going to be training again, and then Sunday is going to be the game. So we're going to have to see here. It's going to be difficult because it's limited time here. I personally would have said if we were sacking Lampard, as I said, we should have sacked him last week, and so that he could have more time with the squad. But for right now, I'm happy. I'm really happy. He was my option, as everyone always know. I know he's a good manager. I knew he'll get the best out of these players for sure, and I'm excited for a good run in the Champions League, hopefully. But for a requirement right now, you should at least try and challenge for the FA Cup because we have an easy draw, man. And usually when you have an easy draw, you get easy opponents every single draw. So our next, you drew Brentford as our next game, or it's Barnsley. So if we get past Barnsley, I don't know if it's going to be a tougher opposition. I don't know if there are any mid-table clubs still in the FA Cup, are they? If they are, I would love an easy run to get to the final and then just I would love an easy run, just get to the final and just call it a day. So yeah, let's move on and hopefully Tuchel can do us great things. It's Tuchel time.
All right, guys. I'm gonna and for any final thoughts on Tuchel or Chelsea's future for the season?
Just to follow up on that, it's going to be interesting over the next 2 games to see the performance levels of some of the players that have been clearly underperforming to see if the appointment is going to be the kick up the arse that they need. Looking at Werner, looking at Havertz. If they perform in the next 2 games, obviously you're delighted that they're playing well, but there's that highlight and attitude issue. It's going to be a really interesting couple of weeks to see the future of this team.
Oh, yeah. It's true. Yeah. If it's just a click of a finger, all of a sudden Werner and Havertz are good, then you do worry.
That was an issue.
Yeah. Ryan, what are you thinking? Final thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm really excited to see how Tuchel plays against Wolves. Like the result, I don't think we should take him too much. Like, I'm not gonna say abandon a result and just play for a 4-0 loss, but like, you know what I mean, if we do lose, we gotta take it with context that it's Tuchel's first game. He's only had 1 training session, but yeah, I think you should go into that game thinking what's it called, that we want to sorry, is it good, bro? But we should just go into that game trying to pick up Tuchel's tactics, seeing the way he's trying to play, seeing the formation he's trying to do, the in-game management, and just his general philosophy about what's to come of Tuchel. Because I'm really excited, man. Like a lot of people have been talking about him, downplaying him, saying he's good, and at the end of the day, everything on the pitch will do the talking, man. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm probably going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you all so much for coming on. Hopefully, we can do more of these again soon with like more people and just talk about all the Chelsea stuff. And I'll probably see you guys on Blues Fans TV soon as well. And thanks for coming on, giving me a bit of insight
Thank you so much for getting me on.
No worries. From an opposition fan, an outside view. And Ryan, Tyrese, thanks again. That's where we're going to end it. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.
Yeah, bro.